You are listening to the Align and Inspire podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Minique, and in this episode, we are going to be talking about why selling the transformation can work for some clients, but actually can repel others. So I don't know about you, but for me, I have heard many times you need to sell the transformation. And if you're not sure what I mean by that, what most coaches will say is you need to sell the transformation, as in sell the result you're going to get people, not just the things that you are delivering, which makes sense to a point. So here's what I mean. So the idea is a lot of people, when they begin in entrepreneurship, might start selling the modules of their courses, or they might start selling the number of videos that they have, or like the number of pages in a workbook. And no one cares how many lessons you have in your program. They don't care how many modules you have. They don't care how many minutes they're going to spend with you, how many numbers at one-on-one sessions necessarily, because it's not about the amount of time that you spend on something or they spend on something. It's about the result that they're going to get working with you in the least amount of time possible, right? And so people say sell the transformation, not like how you get there. But the thing that I've noticed is I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that, because for some people, just selling the transformation is going to really work. And for other people, it can actually repel, and it can produce the opposite effect. And that's what I wanted to share a little bit about today. So this really came to me maybe a few years ago now, when I started working one-on-one with entrepreneurs. I was still running my coaching program for teachers, but I started working with entrepreneurs. And what I had started doing was kind of a similar thing to what I'd been doing with teachers. So I started out helping entrepreneurs streamline how they were running their businesses so they could spend more time with their families, basically, like save time with their work, right? And when I first started doing it, I worked with one client who was like a colleague of mine at the time. And I kind of gave her this whole breakdown of this is the plan, this is the step-by-step of how we're going to do this. This is what I suggest we do together. And the result is you'll be able to save 5 to 10 hours a week in your business. And she signed up. Great. We started working together, and we were at a live event one day, and we met at the airport for the first time in person. I didn't even know who I was looking for. She was a lot shorter than I was expecting. She was my height. I am almost 5'4" for the record. So she was about my height. It was lovely to meet her. We showed up with our big rolly bags, our suitcases, joined an Uber together, and we started chatting. And she said, I have to tell you, the reason that I started working with you is because you said that I'll help you save 5 to 10 hours a week. All the other information that you told me wasn't all that relevant for me. And I was like, what, really? Didn't you want to know how I was going to do that? And that was kind of my first clue into your clients don't all make the buying decisions the way that you do. It really depends on their values for sure, and their subconscious money patterns. And that's what I want to get into in this week's episode. So the thing that really surprised me about her is that I thought, for me, if someone just said, I'm going to save you 5 to 10 hours a week, I'd be like, really? Like, I'd be so skeptical. I want to know, what's the process that you're going to take me through? Like, how are you going to do that? Like, I want to hear step by step, right? Because that's the kind of buyer I am. And I mean, that is what I teach clients, right? Like, if you're in signature program design, I'll help you develop your mini result milestones. That's a big deal for me. But what I learned from her is that connection with her kids, that's what she wanted. That was the transformation she wanted. She wanted more time to spend with her kids. And that's what she was looking to get support with. And so that's why she worked with me. And once I got to know her archetype, which is what we're going to be diving into here, I realized that she is a connector as her top archetype, and that is my lowest archetype. And she's a connector, which means she makes decisions out of like an emotional, like more of an emotional decision and more of a decision around like a feeling of connection, right? Like connection is so important to her. So she wanted to be able to connect with her kids, and she makes more emotionally based buying decisions. Now, she doesn't necessarily, but that archetype normally does. And so because I provided a way for her to connect more with her kids, and because I showed her like emotionally how that would benefit for her, that's what made her buy. And all the other details that I gave her were completely irrelevant, and actually were probably a little bit of a like, not a, yeah, it probably wasn't exactly what she was looking for, right? And so the thing that we need to know is that not every client is going to make decisions the way you do. It can be more easily understood by understanding their subconscious money patterns, which is why I am such a fan of the money archetypes, or the sacred money archetypes by Kendall Summerhawk. So what the money archetypes are, and if you've been listening to the podcast for a little bit, you may have heard me talk about this before. It's like these subconscious money patterns that are driving your behavior around money. And really how you do money, she says, is how you do everything. So it drives a lot of how you make decisions, because money is based on your values, right? Like what you decide to spend your money on really reflects your values. And so when you can understand that people make different buying choices based on their archetype, you can it helps you handle objections or address objections before they even become objections necessarily, because you're addressing the innate concerns of your client's potential archetypes. So I want to give you some examples about what that might look like. So the first big idea that I want to share with you today is that not all clients make decisions the way you do. It depends on their subconscious money patterns. Now I wanted to dive into how different buyer personalities respond to different types of messaging. So there are 8 archetypes, and we won't get into all of them today, but I want to start to show you a little bit about how this might look. Okay. So the first main archetype that we'll look at is rulers. So rulers are people who are very ambitious, maybe you. Ambitious, hardworking, goal-oriented, like really, really driven, want to build a big business, like love work, and maybe you're not working with entrepreneurs like me. They're very driven people. They really want to achieve. And so I'm a ruler, and a lot of business coaches are rulers. And so rulers don't realize, like if they're a ruler, they don't realize that people might not buy like them. So a lot of business coaches will say, sell the transformation, because that works for a lot of rulers, is they want to know, okay, I want to know the transformation. How fast am I going to get there? That's what I'm looking for. And so business coaches will often say, sell the transformation, right? And this client that I had is a connector ruler. So she wanted to know the transformation. It was an emotionally based decision. It made sense for her. However, not everyone is a ruler. It's one of 8 archetypes. And there are different archetypes that will have different triggers that will help them decide to work with you or not. So for example, that was the ruler. Accumulators are very responsible with money, very frugal, very detail-oriented kind of people. And accumulators need more details. So if you do not provide enough detail and you're only selling the transformation, accumulators are going to be turned off by that. They want to see the details. They're the people that read every single line of your sales page. They want to see every single detail. What is included? How many calls are there? How many, what am I buying? They want to know all of those details. And if you only are selling the transformation without any of the details, it's not going to work for an accumulator. The other thing is that they really need a feeling of safety. So if you kind of skim over your guarantee, or you don't have one, That might not work for an accumulator. An accumulator needs to have a sense of like, I know that I'm making a good investment, a safe investment. So once I had a client, a potential client that I was talking to who was an accumulator, and I said to her, like, we have a satisfaction guarantee in my program. So I know that there are many programs out there that you don't get money back from, and you can make an investment and then feel like it's not the right one for you and you can't get your money back, and people feel burned. And so in my program, I have a satisfaction guarantee. If you do modules 1 through 4, and you do the work, because you do need to be committed to work in my program, but if you do the work, you attend 3 calls, and you're not satisfied with your investment, you can request a full refund. And she said, when I told her that, she had this huge weight, like a huge sense of relief that this was going to be a safe investment. So every archetype, well, not every archetype, many archetypes are going to like the satisfaction guarantee, but accumulators need it to make a decision. So if rulers are going out there just being like, sell the transformation and screw the details, that's really not going to work for an accumulator. They're not going to like that. So that's another example. One more we could look at would be mavericks. So maverick is one of my top 3. And mavericks are people who really like bold, innovative, against the grain kind of programs. They're very creative. They're very quick to make decisions, fast moving, can be a little impulsive, can tend to burn their programs down. That's also me. And the thing about a maverick is sometimes providing like too many hoops or too many details. They're like, no, I just want to, like, I've decided, like, let's move along with our lives. They're not going to like all those details. So people make different decisions based on their archetype and their buying behavior. And the reason I love this so much is 2 things. The first is when you understand the different archetypes, you're going to be able to understand how to handle objections before they even come up. So when we think about, are you attracting people who are accumulators, who are very money conscious, who are responsible, who are very like anyone who likes a deal are accumulators, great planners. So if you're attracting a lot of accumulators, you can handle the objections of like, what if this is too expensive? Or like if it's coming from an accumulator lens, you can put that in to your messaging so that you can address that objection before it even comes up. So if I know that I attract rulers, these are my main ones. I would say rulers, nurturers, connectors, and accumulators are usually the people that I attract. So rulers are the really like high achieving. I attract nurturers who are very nurturing, caring, always making decisions for other people. I attract connectors who are all about the connection with others in their community or the connection with you as a coach. And then I attract accumulators. So I know that those are the main people that I attract. So I can purposely put more into my messaging that's going to handle their objections before they even come up. Does that make sense? So when you know what your top 3 ideal clients are and their archetypes, you can put it into your messaging. So, for example, if you know you want to attract more accumulators or you're naturally attracting more accumulators, you can help them feel a sense of safety in the investment they're making in your program by actually giving them those guarantees, showing them that it's a safe investment. If you're attracting more nurturers like me, you might show them how you're going to actually help them work at their own pace. And that it doesn't need to be like full steam ahead, like some programs are, that they can work at their own pace, that they can create a quality. Like for my clients, they're looking to create a really quality program. That's what you can show in your messaging, that will really appeal to a nurturer. So any kind of objections that they might feel like one objection a nurturer might feel like is like, what if it's going to go too fast? What if I can't get my questions answered? What if everyone's rushing by me? You can show that you can go at your own pace. So that's one of the main reasons I love to work through with the many archetypes is you can help handle objections. And the last big idea that I want to share with you is how you can use this lens to create sales copy, to create discovery calls, webinars that really speak to more of your right people without adding unnecessary complexity. So we're going to dive in signature program design. We're diving into all 8, and I can't go into them all here because honestly it would be confusing for you as you're listening, but I want to start to give you some first steps where you can start to think about it. So think about your ideal clients. Are they people who are really ambitious, goal-oriented? Are they people who are more about like connection, caring for others? Are they people who are really ideas people and they have a lot of creativity? Are they people who are more, like I was talking about, the accumulators, plans, detail-oriented, step-by-step kind of people? Thinking about what are some of those tendencies that you're seeing, you can help those people buy and feel safe buying from you in your sales system. So if you've been listening to me for any time, you know that you need to have a sales system, one that feels aligned for you, a sales system that brings people in regularly. That might be webinars, that might be sales calls, challenges, whatever your sales mechanism is, right? You can infuse this into your sales systems as well. So here's some examples. If you want to attract people who are very ambitious, goal-oriented, like I do, I love working with high achievers. And I say that in a positive way, not overachievers, high achievers. If you want to work with people who are like that, like the rulers of the world, you want to show how you're going to help them reach their goals and fast. So you can show them how it's going to be quick, how you're going to help them get their ROI, how you're going to help them achieve their goals quickly. Like they're looking for those tangible ways like, oh, I can see I'm going to be able to get there really fast. That's one thing that they're looking for. You can add that into your copy, into your discovery calls, your webinars, because you know you want to attract those kinds of people. If you want to attract more of those connection-oriented people and that they make decisions based on how connected they're going to feel with you, how it's going to help them take care of other people in their lives, you can bring that into your messaging and into like your webinar, sales copy, and stuff like that. So for example, one of the objections that I got a lot when I was working with teachers is that I could tell that many of them were nurturers when I spoke to them because they were like, oh, but I need to take care of my family first. Or it felt expensive because they had kids that they needed to take care of. Or they were wary of working less because they were worried it was going to make them a bad teacher and they weren't going to be as available for their students as they want to be. So when I could show them that by working with me, it would actually allow them to take better care of others, then they were more likely to work with me because I know that, but they might not see it. They might see it as selfish to invest in themselves. But when I can show that my teaching program is going to help you spend more time with your family, be a better teacher, be more present, they were more likely to buy from me because that was something that really mattered to my very caring, connector, nurturer type clients. And if you're working with more of like the accumulators, like I was talking about, you might want to show them how here's the step-by-step. This is why this is a safe investment. And you can start to infuse that into your messaging, your webinars, your copy. You can even listen if you do discovery calls, and we'll dive into this more in signature program design if you want. If you've got questions, come see me if you're a client listening in. But you can even kind of pinpoint, like as you're listening to people talk, what their number one priorities are and speak to more of them. So like you can ask them, like, why is this important to you? Like if you're doing discovery calls, like say, like you ask them, what's the result that you're looking for? What are you looking to get? And what will this allow for you in your life? What will this make possible for you in your life? Or why does this matter? If you ask them like another layer deep, it'll show them their true why, show you a truer why for them. And you can help speak to that when you actually are running your sales calls, and it can give you an idea of, are they someone who's really doing this for other people and are really caring and concerned about how much they're helping others? Is it because they want to achieve their goals? Is it because they want to get a better investment? Like, what's their reason underneath? So if you ask that question, even if you don't know all the archetypes, it can help you kind of gear your calls to how they make buying decisions. So let's recap. Instead of always thinking that you just need to sell the transformation, know that your clients don't only make buying decisions the way that you do. It really depends on how they see money. Different buyer personalities will respond to different types of messaging, and hearing the transformation might not be enough, or might not be enough, or might for certain clients, right? And so when you have a sense of their money archetypes, it can give you a better idea of how they make buying decisions. When you know what they are, it can help you address some objections even before they come up. So giving accumulators that sense of safety with guarantees and really helping them feel safe, that it's a safe space for them to invest with you. Showing connectors how the community is going to help them make connections within the community, how they're going to feel supported, how they're going to be with people who are like them, that they're going to feel like really connected into your community. That can be a big one for connectors, and showing them like, these are the kind of people in my program that you're going to be able to make connections with. That's another way that you can help handle objections. And you can use this in your sales copy, your discovery calls, your webinars, by infusing it into your messaging, by thinking about what kinds of people you want to attract in and how they're going to make those buying decisions. And listening in, like, why would this matter to you? The more you can listen in and start to realize what are the main things that people are buying your program for, you can infuse that into your messaging as well. So I hope that this episode was helpful for you. If you want the true deep dive and you want to hear about all 8 archetypes, how it can help you shape your program, how it can help you shape your program for you, and also how you can shape your offers so that it really appeals to the right people for you, that's what we're diving into in Signature Program Design this month. So if you're curious, if you want to hear more, reach out to me on Instagram. I'm at lauramonique.business on Instagram. Send me a message. I'd be happy to share more with you. And I will see you on next week's episode of the Align and Inspire podcast.